Good evening, everyone. I am Neha, Ambassador of Change for GETI, that is Global Education and Training Institute, founded and conceptualized by Dr. Sunita Gandhi with the vision of disrupting education as we know it. We also organize in service and pre service training for teachers so that they can actually spearhead this disruptive education movement. And alongside, we also invite various policymakers, educators, and bureaucrats from around the world to discuss these best practices with us. And today, I am very honored and thrilled to have amongst us Mr. Jitendra Bhatia, who is an educator from the Bal Bharti International School, Jaipur, in Rajasthan. And he has almost 8 years, more than 8 years of experience as an educator. And today, he will be condensing that experience and elucidating a very important topic for us, that is the 21st century teaching and learning skills. A very warm welcome to you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, man. And really, I've been honored that you have got a chance to speak on your platform. I'm really honored, and thank you so much that you have given a chance to me.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So I'll be adding your presentation to the screen now, sir, and please let me know when you want me to change the slides. Just 1 minute.
Sure.
So can you see my slides now? I've shared the slides. Can you see them?
Not now, ma'am.
Can you
Yes,
see
sir.
them
Now
now,
I
sir?
can see. So,
Okay, sir.
yes,
Please,
yes.
sir. Please let me know when you want me to change them. Okay.
Okay, thank you. So, welcome to the session. So, as you know, as you see in the picture, that it is written the 21st century skills. What does it mean, 21st century skills? Let me tell you that earlier, when we have studied in the 20s and 90s, that was only a teacher-centered learning was there. Only a teacher-centered means that the teachers are writing on the boards and students are copying the answers and writing and mugging up the answers. Okay, these things are going on in the earlier. No practical knowledge, no practical life, no extracurricular activity was there. But in the today's situation, 21st century skills, there the students are more smart. We have to bring that collaborating learning, that strategy learning, that should be a audio visual learning, not only a teacher centered. It should be a student centered learning. It should, we have to, this is a challenge for us, or we can say that we have to improve ourselves for this upcoming generation 21st century skills, so that the students learn more and more in the more easy way. Because as you know, in the earlier times, that students only writing the answers, but nowadays they are more techno. They become more techno. Okay, they see the things by doing, by seeing, by doing, by learning, and by doing the practical examples. We have to explain by them by practical example, doing the practicals in the lab. As I told you, ma'am, can you change the screen? Just okay. As you see that today's instruction in the classroom is shifting strategies from teacher-centered to student-centered learning. As I told you earlier, there was teacher-centered. You can see the teacher is teaching on the board and students are just writing the answers. Some are sleeping in the class or some are yawning like that. Okay. But now the teaching should be student-centered, so that collaborating learning should be there, group learning should be there, there should be activities in the classes, role plays should be there. So this we have to improve that. We can show the videos to them. Okay, we have to see each and every student and involve each and every student in these activities, and that should be a student centered. Why I'm already focusing to student centered? Because we have to understand what they want, what they want, and how they can study, and how they can get the knowledge in the better and a better way. Okay, these things we have to see. in the coming generation, because these are totally techno. You already know this, due to COVID we are already coming to online sessions, online teachings are there, online training sessions are there. Students are more and more going towards techno, mobile, laptops. So all the classrooms, everything is on the videos also there. So I'll just give you an example. In my school, one computer teacher is there, and when I have studied in my school, I have seen that only they were teaching the no teaching the concept on writing the question answers in the notebook, and we are just learning them. But I have seen my teacher, which my colleague, and actually he was showing the CPU. Just he has opened the CPU and shown them all the hardware parts of that system. This is the practical knowledge should be approached, so that what is there in the CPU, how CPU is work. So these things should be there. So I was really amazed by the teacher that he has shown everything, just open that CPU and shown everything. That should be there. So student will learn more and more easy way. See, we should not tell them that you have to do IIT or you have to do NITs, you have to do engineering, doctors. There are so many fields they can do, excel in that. So this should be there. So we have to motivate them, we have to make them practical knowledge we have to give them. Okay, ma'am, can you change the slide? Okay, so how to teach in 21st century? In traditional skills, what was their teacher was coming and dictating, reading from the books. These were the things were there. Okay, but in today's learning, there are collaborating learning, student-centered learning, है ना? And there should be a activity-based learning is there. And today, teacher are called facilitator. Earlier teacher was called as a teacher only, not now they are called as a facilitator. So these two different things. Facilitator means we are facilitating the students, we are giving them a chance to do excel in their field, we have to given a chance to excel in their field. So these are the things are there. So these are the things are there. Ma'am, can you change the slide? Okay, the requirement to teach in the 21st century skill is, so let's see. So traditional teacher was minimal preparation was there. Their preparation was very less. Few expectation in performance. In performance, there were few expectation was there. Competency in academic subject was not that much. Liking children was enough. The children are not liking the subjects or the topics, not too much. No extra training was there for the teachers. But now extensive preparation and training should be needed, because before going to the class you have to get the excel knowledge, because you don't know, student can ask anything, they can ask any question, and if you will not answer now, that will be a part of a dignity. So you have to prepare before going to the class. Preparation, extensive preparation. What are the activities you are performing in the class, how you are treating with the students, what should role to given to the XYZ students. So you have to prepare for that already. You have to prepare a lesson plan. But earlier no lesson plans were there, they are coming to the class and just writing and teaching. But now it's not there. There is some challenges are there, but you can give excel to the student. But nowadays, okay. And now knowledge about pedagogy, yes, most important. Knowledge about the pedagogy means child, you have to get the knowledge of child pedagogy, what the student wants. This should, we have to study about the child pedagogy. You should have a knowledge about child pedagogy. So that is why trainings are necessary. As you know, nowadays many training institutes are there for teaching. Apart from B.Ed, you have to give take the trainings, get the training, and think that how the students, how we can teach the student, what they are thinking, what they want, we should know. Okay, now certified in areas of expertise. Now earlier there was no expertise was there, no expertise was there. Anyone can come to the class, can teach any subject. But now for every subject there is a expertise, for chemistry, for physics, for bio, for French language, for English, for physics lab, for chemistry lab. These expertise are there. Now held accountably for every student's learning, we have to take care of the learning of every student, what every student want, what problem they are facing. We have to take and give knowledge to every student what they are expecting and what problem they are facing. We have to understand that. So for this, we need to study a child pedagogy. We need to study a child pedagogy. Like now, extending training project necessary. So for the teachers, we should go for the training process. Many training institutes are there. You can go there and learn about the teaching methods, teaching techniques, and what to enhance the knowledge or enhance the activities, how we can make the students happy and they can learn in a very easy and in a comparative and easy way. Like, as you know, multiple intelligence. What is multiple intelligence? Multiple intelligence is nothing. It's just a audio visual learning, activity based learning, practical knowledge. As I tell you, I'm a chemistry teacher. I have PGT chemistry. So when we do a chapter, we the next day we go to the lab and perform the activities. So there in class 10, many chapters are there, like acid, base, and salt. Metals are there. So in metals, and I'll just give you an example, in metal and non-metal, how hydrogen gas is evolved, how we can test that hydrogen gas is evolving if we are mixing metal in acid. If we are putting acid, metal in acid, what gas is evolving, what is the procedure? If we can show in the lab now, they'll remember for their whole life. But but if we teach them in the theory, they will doesn't. I'll tell you an example. I have taken a test of a student. I have taught in theory metal non-metal that hydrogen gas is evolving. He was unable to write in the example, but very next day I have taken to the lab, and the experiment was done, and in the pre-board that question came. They did. So practical knowledge, by seeing, by doing, they get more and more. They get more and more. Ma'am, can you shift the slide? So these are the most important 4 C's of education: communication, collaboration, critical thinking, creativity. So communication between the teacher and the student should be friendly. Not that much friendly, but it should be friendly, that you can understand the problem of the student and he or she can tell you the problem. Collaborating learning, peer learning. That collaborating learning should be there. Group learning should be there in the students. You have to create them. Activities, you can create the activities of the group activities. For that, collaboration should be done. Critical thinking, you have to give that type of questions that they can think and answer. Creativity, some creativity students can perform. You have to give a chance. You have to give a chance to student that they can do something innovative in their activities. So these 4 C's of the education are most important. You have to remember for this: communication, collaboration, critical thinking, creativity. See, 21st century is nothing teaching learning skill. It's just only and practical based learning. Only a practical based. If you are teaching in the class, the topic you are teaching, you should perform an experiment or some activity in the class so that student can learn by doing. As you see that I was also teaching in the science that how we can show the fat. One student bought a paratha, and that was a aloo paratha, and I called them, just give you a paratha, and I wrapped that paratha in the paper, that all the oil was stick to that paper, and that was a fact. Like that example you can perform in the class, easy way, easy examples you can perform. So these are the activities you can perform in the class, and you have to make the student, motivate them, make so that they can do more and more creative things. So these things you have to remember: 4 C's of education: communication, collaboration, critical thinking, creativity. Ma'am, can you change the slide? Okay. Changing roles means we need to be, as the roles are changing, we need to be multitasker. We need to be multitasker. Okay. As the roles are changing in the 21st century, we have to perform many activities, right? So we have to be multitask, like constructive, encourage assessment, help student gain understanding by self questioning. Communicative, active, teach and learn of globalization in the field of international political and economic world. Connected, engage in technology to teach critical thinking and problem solving skill. So we have to multitask. Ultimately, we have to do a multitasking, so that we can tell the student that they have to communicate. We have to be communicative with them, connected with them, constructive, so that they can do a 4 C's of education, like that: communication, collaboration, and critical thinking and creativity. This multitasker is like that only. The student should be four. We have to perform these 4 activities. Like that, the student will learn in a easy, in a perfect way. Can you forward, ma'am? Okay, so we are now faced with even more challenges than last century. Yes, right. We are facing more and more and more challenges. Okay, the situation has been changed. Technology has been changed. Students has been changed. Okay, that way, 20th century to 21st century, everything has been changed. So teaching environment is totally became a different environment. We became an facilitator, and the teaching became a student learning, student centered learning. Earlier it was teacher centered. In 20th century, and now 21st is student centered learning, and we became a facilitator. So multicultural society in a standard based environment, constructive of meaning for active learning, with new views and about abilities and choice and accountability and technology. So I have the few challenges which teacher will be facing, and they have to overcome them, so that a student learn in a easy and a perfect way. Ma'am, can you forward it? Okay, this is the first challenge: teaching in a multicultural society. Teaching in a multicultural society is a first challenge, like influence learning, constant change. Consider the student don't have barriers of learning. So these challenges we have to break it. Like a multicultural society is there, we have to influence them for the learning. We have to give them like practical examples. We have to engage them, encourage them, motivate them for the influence learning. Constant change. Consider that student don't have a barriers for learning. There should be no barriers of learning. Then only they will learn in a creative way. They will do a creative things, innovative things. Barriers should not be there, but it should be in a positive way, not in a negative way. Barrier should be there, but not for a positive way. Not It should be there in a negative way. Can you change the slide, ma'am? Second challenge: teaching in a standard based environment. What is teaching in a standard based environment? Like effort to agree on the sets of standards. What are the standards are there? Second, make sure every student meet this standard. See, if you are teaching in a standard environment, if you are teaching in a CBSE school, some students came from a UP board school, or it comes from a state board school, like that you can say. So that student, how it overcomes the problems of that he is from the Hindi medium school. Now he's came to the English medium school. So what are the problem they are facing? How you will be overcoming to them? How you will teach them? And how you will make them happy, and he will study in a more better way. That is a standard based environment, because some students come from the rural background. If they are coming in a good schools or standard schools like CBSE or ICC schools, Hindi, if they are coming from Hindi medium schools, they will be facing some problems. But you have to encourage them, motivate them, so that they can beat or they can come to that level. Okay, so make sure every student meet this standard requirement on using evidence based practices, held accountability for accessing students learning with standard achievement measure. Different measures are there, assessments are there, you have to measure them, means you have to test them. That is the thing. Third, ma'am, next slide. Teaching for the construction of meaning. Many students make impressive gains in their learning, but the process is not for everyone. See, some basic things are there, more some of the things that some students can do, but some students cannot do. So these are the problems are also there. If you have given a one activity to a student, if there are 5 students, 3 can do the student in a better way, 2 doesn't do, they get demotivated. But you have to motivate them, help them, or tell them that these things we have to do by this and that way. You have to explain in a practical way, so they doesn't get demotivated, they can perform in the same way. Relies heavily on the teacher's belief in constructive learning and his or her proficiency with the reciprocal teaching. See, the students are totally have a belief on the teacher. So teacher should not do any wrong thing in the class. You have to be prepared. The activity you are performing in the class, that should first you have to perform in person, is personal, then you have to perform in that class, so that you doesn't face any problem. Okay, so you can tell to the student in a better way. So some teachers are not open to the ideas, lack of training. So these are the things are missing in the class. Some of the teachers are going without, they are having no trainings, nothing are there. They have lack of idea for the doing the activities in the class. So these are the problems. So you have to already prepared for that. You should prepare before that everything. Next slide. Challenge: teaching for active learning, controlling all the interactivities, promoting collaboration by peer learning, creates opportunity for dialogues in the classroom, and classroom becomes loud and creates distraction for those who are not active learners. So in the class, many students are there. Some are sleepy, some are lazy. So you have to create that environment in the class, so that each and every student listen to you. So this thing will happen only by collaborating learning or activity based learning, or there should be activity based learning. So this only can be done by this, because in theory, if you just go like we take a SST subject. Some of my teacher earlier days, they come to the class and they teach. We feel sleepy because they doesn't show any video. They doesn't take us to the outside environment, so show many things about the history or geography things, like practical knowledge was not there, so we feel sleepy. But nowadays I've seen many activities are going in the environment, in the schools, like geography lab is there, and that many activities are performing. So students are taking interest. Now people are taking arts also, because earlier there was no arts subject was there for class 12 and 11, but now arts is there, because in that geography is there, history is there, economics there. So people are taking interest because there are many practical activities are there. So these are the things you have to see that and make the classroom engaging, collaborating learning, and fun loving too. If the student is happy, your class is happy, and you will be happy. So these are the things. Ma'am, next slide. Challenge 5: teaching with the new views about the abilities. Difficult to design suitable material for everyone, higher achievers, average, low level students, providing each student with learning tasks, getting all students involved and motivated. So these are the things. If the class is big, you have a less time. So how you will manage? So you have to manage the things with that limited time. You have like see you just first finish a subject, finish a topic you are teaching in the theory, then take another day to perform an activity, or in the between. See, if you go and perform activity and give activity to the students on a certain day, on a certain day, means on a surprise day, on a surprise day, they will be more and more happy. Or if you are taking daily, on a daily basis, small activities, they will be happy. Oh, this teacher is coming today, and this activity we are performing. Oh, today is maths period, boring period. So this first thing, oh, today we'll performing this activity, so much fun. This thing should be there in the class, that students are eager to see you. Students are eagerly not to see you. That should not be there. They are eagerly to see you, that will be performing that and that activity. So you have performed small activities, not prepared on a large scale activity. Small activities you can perform, and just see all the student, that all are engaging or not. That is more important. So for engaging activities is the first thing you should be there for performing that. Okay, ma'am, next slide. Teaching and the choice. Public schools become less favorite in some environment, providing equality in education for all students. See, public schools, there are no fun activities are there, no practical knowledge, less are there. But slowly and slowly it is coming. I'm not blaming, or I'm not telling that, but that private schools are there. They have more and more techno things, more and more activities are there. And as you know, that I will not speak much about that, but nowadays that private schools have more student centered learning, and their teacher centered learning is still there. You already know. I will not speak much about that. Next slide. Okay, teaching and accountability, being accountable for the learning of all the student, variety of learning needs, reporting, constant testing, distract from real learning, control system. So these are the challenges you are facing. You have to take care of each and every student, what they are learning, how they are learning, how they are performing, what problem they are facing. So these all the things you have to perform. You have to see the most important thing nowadays. The student gets demotivated very easily, and you have to motivate in every. If he or she doesn't do anything, doesn't write. If you are having a test, if she or he doesn't write anything on the test paper, then also you should not discourage or motivate them. Just tell them, okay, try next time, you'll be doing a better. If you will say that this is the way you're learning, this is not the way you're learning, you are getting 0 marks, not doing anything, you'll not be able to do good in the future, you'll not be able to do anything. So these things, avoid these things. Negative reviews, negative comments, remove it, because students get hurt very easily. They take on their heart very easily nowadays. They are very soft hearted. So these things you have to avoid. Always just make us add some positive sentence and little bit negative, so that they can do better in the next way. And most probably just remember the 4 C's of education: communication, collaboration, critical thinking, creativity. Collaboration learning or activity based learning is the most important. Student will learn each and everything. That is the most important now at 21st century learning is, I've already told you, it's only a practical based learning. Next slide. Okay. Now challenge A, teaching and technology. It is a new culture. Yes, we know it is a new culture. Cultural resistance, intimidation, providing effective collaboration, ensuring learning, expectation varied, assist learning. See, teacher have to prepare. I know teacher will be having more and more load on them, copy checking and everything. Many things are there, instrumenting, extra works are also there. But you have chosen this profession as a choice. If you have chosen this profession as a choice, you will be a good teacher. If you are not choosing this profession as a choice, you'll be not a good teacher. So choose teaching as a choice. See, I have BTech in chemical. I did industrial job, but due to some reason, I came back. I was in Chennai. I came back. I came back and I sat for 2 3 months. Then I've got a teaching offer. Then studied for 2 3 months. It was not an easy task, because from an engineering background, from an industrial background, gone to the teaching background, it was not easy. And I have given that 11 12 classes for chemistry. And slowly and slowly and slowly, after 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, I start loving this profession. From last 8 years, I am this in this profession. I did B.Ed, I did MSc in chemistry. That is, I just start loving with the student. I start loving the student. I start enjoying with the student. I love to teach them what problem they are facing, because I'm like in this 20th 21st century only, so I can understand what problem they are facing. Because as the age grows, their hormonal change are there, so their mind get diverted. You have to combine their mind in a positive way. You have to be friendly with them, not too much, but you have to friendly with them, so that they can you can understand the problem. So if you have chosen this profession by choice, teaching will take you to a higher steps. If you have not chosen, then I don't know about, I can't tell you, maybe some issues will be there, some problems, but teaching is by choice only. You should have to do it. Okay, ma'am, next slide. Okay. Now, this is National Education Technology Standard. NETS require teaching to follow 6 categories: creativity and innovation, communication and collaboration, research and information fluency, critical thinking, problem solving, decision making, digital citizenship, technology operation concept. These are the things what National Education Technology has standards was 6 categories. So if you follow these things, you'll be a best teacher. And thank you, everyone. It was a great session with you, and I hope you have understood all the things. What is 21st century skills is there, and what are the problems we are facing, and we have to overcome with them. Ma'am, what do you?
I am mesmerized, sir, because you mentioned that you had 8 years of experience, and I was very surprised when you said that you initially did not want it. You did not study to be a teacher, and you studied. What
Yes,
did you mention? I think you studied chemistry, and that you did a corporate
yes,
job as well. And to do
yes,
that, and then to come into teaching, I really liked when you said that you have to learn with the children. That's a very overwhelming statement to come from an educator such as yourself. I'm actually very overwhelmed right now because your presentation was not only informative, it was so full of heart and examples. The aloo ka paratha example that you gave, and the examples of the hydrogen thing that you gave, it just makes me think that I wish I had teachers like you. I mean, my teachers were wonderful, but it would have been lovely to have a teacher like you as well. uh,
and one more thing that you have a P Mull sir as an ambassador in Getty.
uh,
P Mull sir, P
Pradeep
Mull
sir,
sir.
Pradeep. Yes, sir. Pradeep. We have
Pradeep
Pradeep
sir,
sir.
he was my
Yes.
principal in 2000 bat. He was in Kanpur. He was in KDMA, and I was a student of 2000 bat. I thought that he will be taking the session, but Neham,
Oh,
you are taking the session, so he was our principal,
oh my God,
ex-principal.
that is such a beautiful thing. That is a very beautiful thing. I will be very sure to pass on that to
Yes, ma'am.
Pradeep sir, that I kind of hosted his student who is doing so well in life right now. I think you make an excellent teacher. I think your students really love you. I can tell from the fact. Now to conclude this, I don't have words right now, but let me gather some words. And since we are a training institute for teachers, what would be your one advice as such a compassionate educator for 8 years? What would be your advice for our teachers so that they can, just be good teachers and make students, prepare students for the 21st century, as you mentioned in your presentation? Just a few couple lines for our teachers, maybe, if you can fill in with them for
Just
them.
love your student. Love your student.
That
That's
is
the
such a
main thing. Because if you have chosen this teaching as a choice, you will love your student. Otherwise, you will not. That is a
that
one
is
line.
I mean, I want to go off the record and just ask you, how are you so compassionate and so empathetic and so full of love for your students? I mean, I mean, I come across teachers who are compassionate, but you're so young, and to see someone so young and passionate, there's this theory that there is lack of talent in education. I mean, teachers are not that talented or that motivated. Yes, that would be the word. Teachers are not that motivated. How are you so motivated, sir? I mean, your motivation is so contagious right now. I am motivated right now. How are you so motivated to, in the pursuit of this goal of yours for students? I mean, that's a very off the track question. I usually don't ask such questions,
Okay, no, no,
but
no problem. But
yes.
earlier education which we have got, and that which we are now here, we have learning from the student more and more things that
Okay.
that technology the students are bringing to us. They are giving us more and more knowledge about that, and
Absolutely.
they are giving more and more new ideas about the teaching, and their way of love, their way of touching a feet, because I'm very young, so if they touch the feet I felt very hurted. So these are the things which get engaged with the student. I just love that feeling, that positivity in the students are there. That is more
And
their
you also
pure
mentioned
heart and soul.
that is such a beautiful thought. You also mentioned that you use, very kind language with them. You add a positive and then, a feedback of negative maybe, so that they can actually, embrace that feedback instead of just being,
Yes, ma'am.
grumpy and hurt. So that's actually, at Getty, we use that. We call that languages of encouragement. So you've been using the languages of encouragement without even knowing, and you came up with this all by yourself. I mean, I think you're an innovator. You are such a wonderful educator, and you're so motivated. And I think you're an example of a perfect teacher. And I am really very
And
honored.
one more thing,
Yes.
ma'am. These we have learned from the Pradeep sir only. In the class, when he comes, everyone was a silent. He was like 6 feet tall, and we are already scared of them. But when we meet them in the ground, they are so much friendly. Pradeep sir is.
Okay.
So
Okay.
these things we have learned from them only. So in the field, you have to be friendly with them. In the class, you have to stick with them.
That's a good thought. That's a good thought. I will be very sure to pass on these, good thoughts to Pradeep sir as well. Right after this talk ends, I'll just drop him a text as well. Thank you so much for being inspired by him and for inspiring us now as well. It's like, you've been carrying his legacy, I could say, in one
Yes.
way. And I'm very honored. I'm actually very thrilled and honored to have
Actually, ma'am, I
hosted.
am honored that you have given him a chance. I am honored that you have
No,
given
sir.
a chance to me. It
You
was
gave
so
us a
sudden
chance.
that you have messaged me. Someone messaged me from that side and was that you'll be, and it was shifted 3 times. That
Okay.
first it will be on. It was shifted. So I'm lucky that I have honored that I've got a chance to speak on this topic.
No, so I think we are the gainer over here to have heard your wonderful thoughts, your informative session, along with your wonderful examples of, comprising of your 8 years of as an educator. I think we are the gainer over here. So thank you so much for gracing this session today, and we hope to continue to be in touch with you and see you around for our further endeavors as well. Thank you so much for being associated with us today and hopefully now also in the future.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any word of, do you have any parting thoughts for our teachers, students, parents, educators, maybe, anything if you would like to conclude this? I would like to give
Just
you the
keep on
honor.
motivating them. Don't complain.
Yes, I
Just
think
keep on
someone
motivating.
said
Don't complain. Everyone,
absolutely.
see, every times when a teacher meets that to a parents, he complains. He doesn't tell a positive thing about the student. So first of all, you should say about positive things. Then you can add little more. That is a thing.
I think someone said that the best advice is the simplest advice. I think it was Occam's razor who said it, and which is exactly your advice. You've given the simplest advice is to keep motivating our students and to keep loving them. I think this is the
Yes.
crux and the core of every teacher's journey. Thank you so much to Jitendra sir for once again highlighting that important point, and it was such a pleasure to host you today. Thank you so much.
Same
Please
here
stay
as
in
well.
touch.
Thank you.
So, thank you so much.
Thank you.